Welcome back to training vlog number 20. So this is arm and shoulder night of week 7 of week 12. So my wrist was actually feeling okay today, but I started doing curls and I tell you what, man, it started bothering me really bad and I wasn't able to put my wrist in certain angles. So I had to actually take a wrist strap from, a wrist wrap from whenever I used to bench press and wrap my wrist up tight with it. And I was able to do some movements, but not like what I actually wanted to do, just because of the angles would actually tweak my wrist and cause it to hurt. So I just made the most of it and did what I could do tonight and everything. So
Yeah, for me, I did I was able to do the full workout because obviously not tweaking my wrist other than my little surgery, but that's a normal thing. But yeah, like the tricep workout for me was really good. I felt it in my triceps like exactly how I was hoping to. Bicep though, I struggled with. I didn't really get as much of a pump and like a good feel in my bicep for most of the workouts. But I struggle more with the bicep in general, especially with like the preacher curl. I don't know what it is. It's just like I get a better like feedback and everything from like a machine preacher curl rather than just like a regular free barbell dumbbell preacher curl. It's just how it's always been for me.
well, I know I went to what was it, Bolt Fitness, and looked at their machine preacher curl benches, and it's a plate loaded, but the way that the machine was designed, like the pad moved, the arm moved, the whole entire machine moved when you did a curl. It was quite interesting to me because I never saw a piece of equipment like that before, but that was the most smoothest like preacher curl machine I've ever felt in my entire life. I mean, it comes with a price tag, $1,400, and it's just like, man, $1,400 just to do preacher curls for your bicep. But I'll be completely honest, if I had the money laying around to buy it, it'd be a justified buy to me, and I would absolutely buy it in a heartbeat and get rid of the one that I have now. Because to be truthful, the one I have right here, I absolutely hate it because it has a few adjustments. The pad telescopes up and down, and then it actually rotates into 3 different positions. And because it can shift, the pad can go from like a 45 angle to like, I don't know, maybe like a 70-degree angle, and then it could go flat across for doing like wrist curls, which is great and all. And you could flip it completely around to the other side to do like seated, like a backrest for like seated shoulder press or whatever. But what I hate about it is it gets clunky, like it moves, like that pin has a little bit of play. So whenever you're curling, there's a point on the pad where it goes clunk, clunk, and it shifts the pad, which shifts the load in your arm. And I absolutely hate that. So I despise this preacher curl bench. I make the most of it, but I really want to get rid of it and get that one, but I just can't justify spending $1,400 at the moment and everything. But for my wrist being hurt tonight, I did have a pretty good workout. I made the most of it, but also since you're going up in your food too, you're going to notice that your pumps will start getting better and better. The more you eat, the more blood volume you'll get into your muscles, especially if you increase your salt and your carbohydrates.
Yeah, and like for me, like the preacher curl, if I were to do like single like dumbbell, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But like when I do use the barbell, like even the easy curl, it's just something with how my arms extend when on the preacher curl. It's like my right arm, I guess. It's like it has to twist a weird way at the elbow for me to extend out when I'm doing it, and I don't like how it feels. So like I don't know. I'm not a big preacher curl fan, but I mean they have their uses, and I guess it does work. But I never really get for me it's never really an exercise that I like. Yeah, like I really felt it on this one, and like in a good way. It's just like I struggled a little bit, and now I'm done.
Well, start doing them with dumbbells, man. I mean, there's nothing in the law that says that you have to do it with an easy curl or a straight bar. If you want to do it dumbbells, I mean, it'll take a little bit more time to do it with a dumbbell, but try it with a dumbbell. I mean, and you might be able to find that perfect sweet spot of that angle that you need to be able to really hit that bicep and really actually feel it like engaging and contracting. But for me, if I could get that preacher curl machine, I would buy it. But it's so big, it has such a big footprint, man. It's massive compared to this one right here. So another issue is, do I have the real estate to actually even be able to put it into the gym, to be completely honest, because it's so freaking big and everything. But like I said, I almost be willing to take a gamble on it and buy it just to find out, you know.
Yeah, and the easy curl standing curls, like those actually were pretty good. Like with the really close grip, that was actually kind of good. It was a little weird on my wrist, some just because like mobility issues in general with me, but the way the weight felt, I felt good with that one. Like I didn't mind doing those instead of doing like the traditional regular straight bar like we'd been doing. So that was a nice addition for the night.
Yeah, I tell you what, I went back and looked at some of my older videos, little shift topics here. I went back and looked at some of my older videos today, and I went back to one that said it was about temptation, like dieting is hard sometimes. There's the thumbnail's me in the pantry looking at some chocolate bars, and I'm sitting on the patio talking, and I am so fat, man. Like I tell you, looking back at it, I didn't realize like how fat my face was and how heavy I actually was until I went back and looked. Because to be honest, like this has come over slowly losing the weight. So I see myself and I still look the same way to me that I've always looked, and I don't see the difference. Then I went back today and looked at that video, and I was just like, oh my God, I was horribly fat and gross. Holy crap. I walked around like that. Like, oh my God, like all that extra body. Now, don't get me wrong, I was powerlifting. It was needed and necessary. But you know, when I got hurt, I just kept the weight. I never tried to lose it. I was just like, whatever. And I just pretty much stopped doing everything for a while. But now looking back at it, I'm just like, man, what took me so long to get started on this, to start actually like cutting weight and looking better and feeling better? Because to be truthful, man, I feel so much better at this body weight than I did at that body weight. I'm just more mobile and agile, man. It feels different walking around and bending and twisting and turning and getting in and out of vehicles. It feels better, you know?
Yeah. And speaking of diet, like right now for my work, I'm having to do another class. It's a first responder training for my job. And since we're doing the class, it's 8 hours, 3 days out of the week, and they're buying us lunch. And so they're brought in Chick-fil-A today and stuff. And I was like, no, I got my meals. And they're like, sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I brought my own stuff. And then tomorrow they're like, well, is there any like diet restrictions that you need? We're going to order barbecue for tomorrow. And it's like, nah, I'm good. Like, I got my meals.
Yeah, no. Well, at least they're nice enough to ask you if you have any diet restrictions so they can cater to your specific needs. Like my company is just like, we're doing snow cones. Everyone needs to show and participate. It's a team building exercise. It's like, I'm good, man. I'll just chew on some ice, you know. And then or they'll do like kolaches, they'll do pizza. I'm like, oh man, there's some pretty upset employees. We know how to fix this. We'll do a pizza party. And then you don't eat nothing. Then they're just like, all right, we found the troublemaker here. It's like, no, I'm good, man. I've had enough time being fat and gross, and
they're making pancakes again on Friday morning. I was like, yep. Every 2 weeks they decide to throw together pancakes. I was like,
yeah,
figures.
Yeah, and temptations everywhere, man. Like, you know, I have kids, and the temptations all through my house, and then the kids will want to go eat. Like they wanted to go to Mott's Pizza the other day, so we went to Mott's Pizza, and I just sat there while everybody ate, and I was just smelling it. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't tempted, and I wasn't suffering or miserable or anything, but just smelling it was just like, man, it smells pretty good. But I didn't eat any, but at the same time, it was just kind of like, you know, I have to go through things like that. Being on a diet, like it's my choice, and I'm not going to not take my kids out to eat and do things, or let my wife go, you know, eat and do stuff like that with them. I'm going to go and I'm going to be there and be involved. I'm just not going to participate in actually eating the food. And there's just a lot of temptation out there, and it's just it takes a strong mind to be like, you know, I can eat this if I wanted to, but I choose not to. And there's a lot of people that actually will use those excuses, like, well, how often does work do this, or special occasion, or well, how often? When's the next chance I'm going to get to do this? Whenever you decide to do it again, that's when. It's not like, oh no, this only happens once a year. You know, this place is open 365 days a year. You could come literally whenever you want. You know.
Yeah, it's like we're supposed to be setting up for our holiday stuff. So like what events we're gonna do for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they want my input on it, and I'm like, I don't care.
He's like, ground meat and rice.
Exactly.
So, big old ball of meat and big old ball of rice. So, but I think that's going to be it for me on this one, man. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, sounds good.
All right, man. Hey, thanks everybody for stopping in and watching. If you guys have any comments or any questions, just leave them in the comments, man. We'd like to hear from you guys. Remember, no agony, no bragging.
Yep. Catch you later.